A typical morning in Camden, 33 drug busts on one corner in less than 3 hours. Crack, heroin, marijuana. Camden has been called the Walmart of illegal substances. It's a $43 million industry.
This is a full-service market. Heroin, crack cocaine, school buses go by. The good people on the block just have to deal with it.
My life is stress and no rest forever weary. My eyes stay teary for all the brothers that I buried in the cemetery.
And nearly 75% of the buyers are from the suburbs.
I just don't understand the logic behind 25-year-old girl coming from a pretty affluent neighborhood gets hooked up on heroin.
This one from Moorestown.
Best city in America, right? Best neighborhood in America, Moorestown.
Why you got that camera in my face?
In Camden. Why are you buying drugs in Camden? Young girl from Moorestown coming in here to buy dope early in the morning. Get in line.
We noticed some preschoolers walking hand in hand while watching another drug bust.
You all right?
And in the backseat of a car, a cop wipes a tear from a frightened child. It's his brother who got caught.
Go ahead, Professor. Where'd you get those muscles? You do what you want to do. You're an adult. You take your risk. But you bring him, nuts. Little kid will never forget that, ever.
We ride with the cops from morning to night. They execute a search warrant in a house suspected of dealing.
I'm soaking wet. I'm peed all over myself.
The freezer is full of what's called wet, the street name for marijuana laced with embalming fluid and PCP. Former Camden prosecutor Vince Cerubi tells me the drugs are customized. Every block has a specialty.
It's location, location, location.
Dealers rent out the prime street corners from drug lords. The going rate? $10,000.
To rent it for a year or something? Or
To rent it for a week.
Oh, no. 10,000 a week?
10,000 a week.
No.
We need to have some positive alternatives for kids. You'll see that the majority of the people that are involved in selling drugs are younger kids.
So imagine the temptation for a kid like 17-year-old Billy Marrero. Approximately 1/3 of teenagers in Camden were arrested last year. But Billy says he hates the drug trade, and he's going to be the first in his family to get a high school diploma and a job that lifts his family higher.
I'm very much so worried about my grades. I'm very, very scared. I don't want to be a failure to myself and to my family. I believe my father truly deserves to see me graduate at the right time with a diploma, with a gown.
He agrees to let us follow him through his 24-hour day.
Let's see. Kitchen and then bedrooms upstairs,
Yeah,
right?
this is a kitchen / washroom.
At home, electricity in only a few rooms. The same goes for heat. They are in this house thanks to an elderly next-door neighbor.
As you can see over here, we got pilots running and there's no food. That's the heating system of the house. We have intentions of heating the house up with the stove and the oven at night. It's kind of dark in here, you really can't see. But this is where Ethan and Joshua sleep. This is their bedroom.
No lights in here.
No lights.
The younger boys upstairs in a kind of dark freezer.
And no heat gets in this room.
Yeah.
An uncle sleeps in the basement, a sister down the hall. The furniture in the living room was donated. Billy says his mother left the family when he was just 9, and they rarely see her. His dad, Victor, is raising 6 kids, and his daughter's children, his 2 grandkids. 4 years ago, Victor had to quit his job working in a bean factory because of serious heart trouble. These days, he begins at 5 a.m. doing laundry in the kitchen so the kids have clean clothes, and waging his regular morning warfare with the roaches.
This is the war of the roaches. I spray those cans. Every month I spend a whole bunch of spray. But I'm winning the war.
I check the refrigerator, a few donuts in a box.
Because that's about all there is for this giant family to eat.
By the end of nearly every month, the $600 in food stamps have run out.
The food's run out. We really don't have much food to eat. And so you learn to eat the food a certain amount at a time, so that way you can have it last to the next first.
How do you work it in the family when there isn't much food?
Well, the priority is the babies and Stephen and Jonas, because they're the youngest.
On the first of the month, we shop with Victor.
We're gonna eat chicken and beans today, and tomorrow we eat mashed potato with chicken, and then we go back to the rice and bean and chicken, you know what I mean?
So no green vegetables?
No, we love it. It's expensive.
It is Billy's critical senior year. His best friend, Jonathan, is probably going to be valedictorian.
waiting for the night.
And the teachers say Billy Joe is also extremely gifted. He has a passion for Shakespeare and drama. But by winter, his grades are dangerously rocky. As we said, the drug trade is all around, and Billy has been recruited by gangs, but in the end, said no. Each day, when school is over as it gets dark, he boards a bus for a 20-minute trip to a neighboring town where he found a job.
So what do you think about on the way to work?
I feel the obligation to help my father out when I get paid because I know that he can't do it all by himself.
He works at a fast food chain. As we said, manufacturing jobs moved out of Camden in the 60s and 70s. He feels lucky that he also gets a free meal. 5 hours later, he's ready to take the bus home. It's 10:30 at night.
Getting up at 6 in the morning to do it all over again.
He has earned $32.50 for this day.
It's my job now. It's my duty. It's my responsibility. And some people would say no, but until you're in my position, you can't say that, so. That's why I work 5 days a week.
Waiting for him, stacks of homework.
I'm gonna work on the 6 essays I have to get done so I won't fail my English class.
You got a lot on your shoulders. Working, home, homework, school.
Greatness requires sacrifice, in my opinion.
But when you look at other people who have so much, you don't get jealous and think, it's not fair that I have a wall that's like that or that you don't have more.
I look and I think it's unfair because my father worked so hard. Because I work so hard that these, like, people, like the kids with money, I know kids with money. You know, kids from Morristown, and they take it for, you know, for granted.
When it's time for lights out, Billy sleeps on the floor where the bugs are, next to a vent.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are up with Victor the next morning at 5 as he wakes up the younger boys.
Good morning. Good morning. Who is this, huh? Okay, we're gonna give it one more try.
Billy Joe.
Billy
Remember,
Joe.
we got company here today.
Yes.
Come on. I don't want to take you fast.
Good morning.
Another battle with the roaches in the kitchen, and breakfast, ravioli from a can and powdered drink. Awaiting Billy Joe at school, a conference, and the question, how could someone as smart as Billy be falling so far behind in his grades?
We expect him to do better, but between work and family, he has one English class that he absolutely has to pass.
You're one of the most intelligent person I ever met in my life. I know you could do it. You gotta do it.
The 17-year-old who wants to beat the odds in his town and earn the family's first diploma promises to work harder. For the dad, he calls in a song he wrote, Father of the Century.
Well, the father of the century, you are my, you are my, you are my hero, you are my.
We'll tell you what happens next to Billy Joe and to Ivan in a moment, but it's worth remembering that whatever a little kid sees out the window on the horizon, kids and their dreams start out the same everywhere.
Dreams and ambitions? The Morristown kids.
Okay, now I want to know what everybody wants to be when they grow up.
An ice cream man.
An ice cream man.
I want to be a doctor or a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a CEO.
CEO?
Mm-hmm. But I know my dream.
What's that?
Being Batman.
Really? What would you do if you were Batman?
Save people.
And what do you want to be?
A vegetarian.
A vegetarian? And what do vegetarians do?
They take care of dogs and sick people.
Oh, they take care of dogs and things.
And sick dogs. Veterinarian, I mean.
And the little kids of Camden have dreams too.
Paint my house gold.
You would paint your house gold.
Then I'll paint myself gold. My parents. Then my brother.
You'd be a very funny looking family. And what do you want to be when you grow up?
A firefighter. I want to be a football player. Superman.
Will you have a cape and fly and everything?
Yes. But how are you going to fly? Superman has magic powers.